just one question: how long will the legacy last? Honestly, Cobra Kai seems to be one of the biggest jewels in Netflix's crown, and that's pretty impressive considering it all started as nothing more than a YouTube series. But now that it's out there, how many more seasons does it really need? And before we dig in any further, there are some Cobra Kai Season 5 spoilers coming up, so watch at your own risk. First off, there are always two sides to every story. Alright, so right after it dropped back in 2018, the continuation of The Karate Kid has been one of the most successful and faithful reboots of a popular retro franchise ever. In fact, it's even maintained a pretty steady hold on the ethos of the show too, which isn't easy. And with that, Season 5 came out just last week on September 9th. Now, while all of that is great, let's talk about the characters. If you're a fan of the series, you'll notice that as the series developed, so did the running theme of the show itself. Think about the first two seasons. The focus literally shifted from the original hero Daniel LaRusso to the original villain Johnny Lawrence. And that's the same villain who's pretty desperate to get back his heyday after a downward spiral. So right in the middle of all of this, we see a two sides to every story trend going on. And that's basically a brand new perspective from Johnny's point of view that pretty much changed the entire way we looked at the original Karate Kid. It turns out that Johnny wasn't really the bad guy to begin with. At the same time, LaRusso wasn't exactly the hero we'd held him up to be either. The point is, there's yin-yang in everyone, so it's just a matter of how you look at it. Coming up, let's talk about the villains. Now, the show started by bringing more of the OG Karate Kid generation into the fold, but over the course of the show, the original good versus evil started getting pretty prominent once again, and it was never more evident than in the latest big bad, Terry Silver. With that said, the Karate Kid 3 baddie started off as a good guy in his reintroduction, but that was really only until he was tempted back by John Kreese into the world of evil, and that ended with him surpassing Kreese in a double cross and setting him up for literal attempted murder to take over the Cobra Kai dojo himself. Yeah, pretty intense. Anyway, jumping right into Season 5, he's honestly proved to be the perfect focal point for past enemies to join forces, put their differences aside, and achieve something great. In fact, everyone from the past was suddenly united in their mission to finally finish him on and off the dojo mat, and that would prevent a tyrannical reign across the valley, which could pretty much expand all over the world through the art of karate. And with that, we're on to the Season 5 finale. Now, it ended with a bloody and significant climax where the villains of Karate Kid 1, Johnny, Karate Kid 2, Chosen Taguchi, and Karate Kid 3, Mike Barnes, decided to come together for the very first time. But this time, it was to fight for something good. Following up, it feels good to finally have come to a complete circle. Yep, the ending was nothing short of completing the loop, and it gave the audience the feeling of a satisfying ending, if only that were true. In spirit, Season 5 seems like the perfect finale for a show like Cobra Kai. Think about it, it's got everything you could imagine. Long-held beef was finally squashed, evil was defeated once and for all, and along the way, new friendships came into play as the world looked toward a brighter future. And to top it all off, even John Kreese, who we've mostly seen in jail during the entire show, also seemed to somehow find his way out of prison on his own terms. And he used a suitably elaborate and pretty boss-like stunt that's perfect for a character we've hated but learned to love, and then loved to hate right from his introduction in the original movie back in 1985. Yeah, call it an emotional roller coaster. Anyway, walking off into the sunset to Frank Sinatra's My Way, there was definitely a sense that it was really for the leg-sweeping sensei. And if we never saw him again, we were still hoping that he'd be fighting another day in whatever way he saw fit. And honestly, you know what? Good luck to him. Up next, Season 5 still doesn't seem to be the end of the Cobra Kai story. Yep, that's right. If anything, it's pretty unlikely that this is the end, even though it would have been the perfect one. And for starters, Netflix's silence around the whole future of the show is deafening, only for a positive reason for a change. With a story this established and a show this successful, it would definitely not end with a quiet announcement that it's cancelled and zero explanation on it. And think about the Umbrella Academy before it. It seems like there'll be an announcement about which season would be its very last one ahead of the show's production. And that's a great way to give the show some extra hype and a chance for fans to prepare for their final goodbye to a show they loved so much. In fact, it also lets the writers go all nuts and blazing with pretty much anything they want to do. What we're trying to say is that closure is sometimes the most important thing with great shows like these. Sadly, not every show gets one, and that can leave fans confused or make a series drag drag its story way too long, which ruins the whole essence of it. A final season gives somewhat of a carte blanche for anything to go, and it also creates a lot of excitement, because now that we know it's the last, anyone can die, and they're gone for real. And it doesn't even matter beyond the last few hours, and suddenly everything fans have been building towards can reach its peak. What's more, a final season can create more excitement than disappointment. When you're expecting the last season, there are a lot of predictions. In fact, there can also be some crazy fan theories too, but that's enough for the writers to go ahead and defy all the expectations and give you a brilliant ending. And if we're being honest, Netflix does have a trend of continuing their shows to the 4-season mark before calling it a day, with very few exceptions that we see. Plus, this is usually prominent for series with young adult angled audiences. Gone are the days with shows going on for 10 seasons or so. Now, bringing back Umbrella Academy, it's the latest to be announced to end with a final season 4. Adding to the list, Ozark ended with season 4 a few months ago, and Never Have I Ever is also officially ending with the season 4 next year as well. Need more examples of your favorite Netflix shows ending in season 4? Here you go: Atypical, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Dear White People, On My Block, and 13 Reasons Why. So with all of these great shows wrapping up their story and saying goodbye after 4 great seasons, does Cobra Kai really need a 6th, especially after the great ending? Finally, there's a lot on the line for this 6th season, so if you are asking if there's a 6th season coming up, the answer is yes, if the show is renewed, and that's exactly what bucked the 4-season trend. But let's take into account the fact that the first 2 seasons actually came out on YouTube right before Netflix decided to buy the show. So with a little bit of kindergarten math, the actual number of seasons Netflix created themselves up until now is 3, and not 5. So the 6th season would really just be a 4th for the show's writers after they moved to Netflix. Okay, so while this sounds like a deliberate theory, we've also seen the same thing happen with another successful show, Lucifer. In fact, Netflix bought the show from Fox right after its cancellation in season 3, and then our favorite streaming platform ran it for another 3 more seasons on its own terms. Honestly, it would have gotten even further if the cast, and we're hinting at Tom Ellis, wanted to. Rumor has it that he just wanted the show to end with season 5. And also, if it wasn't for some random poetic connection between Six and the devil, yeah, we warned you, fan theories can get pretty wacky. Anyway, back to Cobra Kai. With the story seemingly heading towards its logical closure point anyway, and with all the math we just did, it seems like now is the perfect time to let Cobra Kai die. And it's not just gonna end with 6 seasons, but it's also going to be a dramatic end to an almost perfect record of continuing a near-perfect 37-year legacy. Although, let's just have one last kick-ass fight first, right? That's a wrap for this video. Do you think Cobra Kai Season 6 should be its last? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.